Hello and welcome to this special interview with Dr. Jeff Porter, President of North Africa Risk and Consulting Organization and expert in energy and security in the region. Welcome, Mr. Jeff Porter. So to start with, welcome to Algeria for another time and welcome to NAPEC. And according to you and according to what you have seen, how can this kind of event help boost the energy sector in Africa?
Well, I mean, NAPEC is a very important event. It puts Algeria on the map. It brings a range of foreign companies, both in the upstream and in the oil field services and in the manufacturing side, in the energy sector, to Algeria. It allows them to meet one another. It allows them to meet their Algerian partners. It allows them to meet Algerian stakeholders and decision makers. And that enhances their ability to do business in Algeria, and it raises Algeria's profile among the companies active in the energy sector.
So regarding the fact that you have been in several conferences concerning energy in Algeria, what do you think makes NAPEC 2025 special? What do you think makes the 30th edition special?
Listen, there are a range of conditions in which NAPEC is taking place. And those conditions are conducive to foreign investment in the Algerian energy sector and for growing partnerships between Algerian energy sector stakeholders like Sonatrach and others and other foreign partners. So some of the conditions are Algeria is stable. Algeria has a transparent regulatory environment. Sonatrach and Al-Naft and the HRA and the Ministry of Energy have expressed a desire to diversify the number of foreign investors in Algeria, and all that contributes to a very successful NAPEC.
And what stands out from Algeria organizing this event at this time of the global changes that are happening?
Listen, Algeria is the second largest supplier of natural gas to Europe. And by Algeria organizing this event here, it allows the Ministry of Energy, Al-Naft, Sonatrach, the HRA to showcase the Algerian geology. What's in the ground? What kind of natural resources does Algeria have to offer, and how can they be exploited to the benefit of Algeria, but also to the benefit of energy markets? And so Algeria is well placed to do that. It has the hydrocarbon resources, it has the human resources capabilities, and it has the existing infrastructure which ties into European natural gas markets.
And regarding the fact that you know the whole region and you know Algeria as well, Algeria has long been described as a key player and as a guarant for stability in the region. What is your take on this?
Algeria is not involved in any conflicts. Algeria has no disputes with any parties around it. And as a consequence, Algeria has been a reliable supplier of natural gas and energy more broadly to European markets and also to Asian markets throughout the last decade and a half, and even more so as energy infrastructure between Europe and Algeria intensifies, as energy production in Algeria intensifies. It will continue to be a stable and reliable gas supplier to international energy markets.
And coming to the point that you spoke about Europe, and regarding the fact that the world is changing nowadays, especially when it comes to gas and oil flows, how do you think Algeria is positioning itself?
Well, I think it's positioning itself extremely well. And I think this edition of NAPEC is illustrative of that. You had strong representation from the government. You had strong representation from leaders in the Algerian energy sector. And you had strong bilateral meetings on the sidelines of the conference between existing Sonatrach partners and also potential Sonatrach partners. And so what Algeria is doing is it's maintaining the relationships that it has, and it's also looking towards the future to see who the appropriate partners are for Algeria to develop its hydrocarbon resources in a responsible manner. not in an exploitative or urgent or thoughtless manner, but in a carefully considered way that protects Algeria's natural resources for its future.
And concerning the oil and gas that is, and the climate change nowadays, how do you relate the oil and gas exportation and production as well as the transition into renewables?
Listen, there's always going to be a need for natural gas, particularly in Europe. The European energy structure is based on natural gas. Algeria does have the opportunity to simultaneously develop its natural gas capabilities and to develop its renewables capabilities. But it also has the luxury of developing renewables in a financially feasible way. There are some countries in the region that are rushing to develop renewables. And what's ended up happening is in those countries, their rush to develop renewables results in projects that are not financially feasible. There are some flagship solar projects in neighboring countries that have existed for close to 17 years that don't make money because they're not financially feasible. And as a result, Algeria has the opportunity to continue to produce natural gas and to develop solar and wind and hydrogen in a way that makes financial sense.
It's all, as according to what you say, it's all about having a realistic point of view or realistic plan towards this transition. And how attractive do you think Algeria is nowadays for investment in the energy sector?
Very. And all you have to do is look around the conference and see the number of participants that have expressed interest in investing in the Algerian natural resources. And we can look at this panel with the number of sponsors of NAPEC. And in addition to the ones that have actually sponsored NAPEC, there are a host of other companies that are here and present at the conference doing their initial market entry studies, engagements to explore the opportunities that exist here. So it's really remarkable, especially if you contrast the 2025 edition of NAPEC with energy conferences that took place in Algeria in 2010 or 2013 or 2015. There was, at that time, some interests, negligible interests, in comparison to today, which is, it's unprecedented.
Yeah.
A genuinely unprecedented level of interest.
And speaking about investors coming to Algeria, what do you think are the advantages that are attracting investors to come to such events and also to come invest in Algeria?
Just to repeat, Algeria is a stable country in the southern Mediterranean. About that, there is no doubt. It is a stable country. In addition, it has existing infrastructure which links it to European natural gas markets. Third, it's a secure environment. Okay, 30 years ago, we had the dark decade. 20 years ago, we had Al-Qaeda. 10 years ago, we had Daesh. But that's a long time ago.
Yeah.
And now we don't have the same kinds of security concerns. The fourth thing is the investment environment and the regulatory environment is more transparent than it's ever been. And the stakeholders on the regulatory side have shown a willingness to work with potential partners to find a mutually acceptable solution to any disputes they might have. So you have a stable market, secure market, existing infrastructure, and a willingness on the part of Algerian stakeholders to engage with their partners to find solutions. And voila.
Just to move on with the next question, and you have talked about opportunity, you have talked about investment ability, and what opportunities do you see for Algeria in the next few years or maybe the next decades in terms of renewables?
In terms of renewables, Algeria is, as you well know, it's the largest country in Africa in terms of landmass. A large portion of that country receives a tremendous amount of sunlight, and that presents enormous opportunities for the development of solar. However, as I said earlier, solar needs to be developed in a way that makes financial sense. And one of the challenges for developing solar is you can build a solar facility, that generates electricity, but you still need to sell that electricity. And in order to sell that electricity, you need to sell it at a price that eventually recovers the costs of the initial construction of the facility. For now, Algeria is still exploring ways in which to do that. And perhaps the way to do that is to export renewably generated electricity to Europe for a foreign market, and then use domestic gas production for a domestic market.
And do you think, to a certain point, Algeria's aspirations and plans in terms of renewables and in terms of gas and oil match the plans that are put in place in order to achieve the goals set before?
Listen, Algeria has the opportunity to become the energy hub of the Western Mediterranean and North Africa. If Algeria is able to develop its unconventional gas resources, it's able to attract new investment into Algeria, and it's able to develop the Trans-Saharan gas pipeline connecting Nigeria through Niger to Algeria. Algeria then, in the span of a decade, could become it could guarantee its place as the second largest supplier of natural gas to Europe and lock in its future as an energy hub.
Thank you so much for your deep and thorough insights concerning the region and the energy sector, Mr. Jeff Porter. Just to close in, what do you think people outside the region of North Africa have wrong about the idea, or what wrong ideas do you think they have about Algeria?
I think that there are historic perceptions of Algeria as a risky or dangerous place in which to do business. And if there is any one criticism of Algeria, it's that Algeria does not market itself. I mean, I think the stakeholders in Algeria believe that the truth speaks for itself.
Yeah.
And that there's no need to do public relations.
Yeah.
But in today's world, in today's information environment, the truth gets drowned out.
Yeah.
And there's a real need to engage in public relations in order to ensure that the message of Algeria is a safe, stable, transparent place to do business, that message is communicated.
Yeah, and in what terms do you think Algeria should be engaged in public matters? How can this be done to promote for Algeria?
That's a big question. And it's going to require, I think, a multifaceted media strategy with a coherent message that is distributed across multiple platforms. This no longer has to do with the rocks in the ground or the facts or how much unconventional gas Algeria has to exploit. This has to do with the messaging. And that's a completely separate domain.
If I may, Mr. Jeff, if you had to describe Algerian energy in only one sentence, how would you put it up?
I think Algerian energy is an unrecognized asset, and it has the capacity to be transformative for the Western Mediterranean, for North Africa, and for Europe.
Thank you so much, Mr. Jeff Porter, for your thorough insights, and thank you, dear viewers. And you have been with me, Usama Ayadi, with Mr. Jeff Porter, President of North Africa Consulting, Risk and Consulting. Thank you so much, and see you next time.